Hello, Internet. You are looking live here in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, here at DNA HQ. What's going on, AJ?
Oh, not much, man. Just here to enjoy another beautiful episode.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. This will be a fun one. It's good to see you folks. It's been a while,
Yes.
This is the summertime where, believe it or not, we take vacations. So we missed 1 week because I was on vacation, and then we missed last week because
I was on vacation. Yeah.
So that's going to happen. But unfortunately, of course, a bunch of news drops on the hockey side of things, and also the NBA draft happens to fall in that time. So we've got a lot to talk about. Not a whole lot of time to get to it. So we should probably jump into that. Now, before we do, folks, let's go ahead and talk about the live stream here. Now, once again, folks, if you're watching us on the live stream, we do want to hear from you there in the comments down below. Jump in the comments section. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you have any interaction or any comment about what we're talking about or any opinion about what we're talking about, we'd be happy to talk about it with you live on the show here, because that's the benefit of the live streams. We get to interact with you folks live in the show, and also it makes editing easier to get the podcast up faster. So
sure does.
But yeah, again, let us know. Go ahead and drop down in the comments down there below. If you are catching this live and you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. We are so close to giving away that $500. The first $500 we earn in AdSense revenue is going back to our subscribers. So if you're watching us live on our live stream and you have not yet hit that subscribe button, make sure you do.
Smash it.
That's right, because we're giving that away. We want you to make sure you get in on that. So I will definitely do that. We'll cover that more as we go for sure. All right, so we want to get go ahead and get the intros for the podcast started.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the University of Utah has officially announced its coach in waiting. Let's talk about Morgan Scalley.
In the NHL, Utah Hockey Club has had their first official NHL draft. Let's break it down.
Baseball, or what do we do? NBA?
Mm-hmm. The Utah Jazz have had their the Utah Jazz have started Summer League. Let's go ahead and break down our early impressions.
And the Boston Celtics do the Boston Celtics have the roadmap for the Utah Jazz winning an NBA championship?
In Major League Baseball, the home run derby. In Major League Baseball, the All-Star game is right around the corner. Let's go ahead and talk selections. All that and more. My name is Darren. That is AJ. And this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
How's it going, AJ?
I'm doing so good, buddy. I'm so ready for this.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and jump into it. But first, before we get into content, folks, we want to talk about our giveaway. We are so close, folks. We are near 1,000 subscribers. We're about 50 away now, 48, something like that away. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers and this channel is monetized, we're going to be giving the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue back to our subscribers. So if you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway, and also smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into our let's first talk a little bit about University of Utah football, shall we?
Oh, absolutely, man.
It's always nice when we have news. We can talk about
I love the Utes. Yeah, and football season's like less than 60 days away. We're gonna have some content coming on that. Make sure you guys tune in.
Absolutely. It could be a lot of fun. Gonna be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and talk about it. The news broke last week here that the University of Utah have officially announced their head coach in waiting. You want to break that down?
Yeah, Mr. Morgan Scalley himself. Got a picture for him here.
Do we?
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
No, that's not it. That's the reviews. There it is.
So close.
So close. There it is.
Yeah. So Coach Scalley's officially named the head coach in waiting. Everybody knows Coach Scalley. He's been with the program, roughly 17 years as a Utah assistant as an assistant coach for the University of Utah. This will be his 9th year as a defensive coordinator. He also coaches the safeties, as everybody knows. He was a former Utah All-American safety himself. Coach Scalley's got a pretty impressive resume. He's sent 29 players to the NFL in his days. So it's really no surprise that, Coach Whittingham said himself just in the Pac-12 media, Big 12 media days. That's going to be a tough one to get used to.
Yeah, we'll work on it, folks. We'll work on it.
Yeah, in the Big 12 media days, Coach Whitt said himself, he does expect a pretty seamless transition. for Coach Kelly to take over. I mean, I think that's absolutely going to be the case. I mean, these two guys are kind of cut from the same cloth, right? They're defensive minded, next man up mentality. They're coaches that want to own the line of scrimmage and, just play tough, hard nosed football. So
yeah, I've got two questions on that one. First one, the first question is going to be the I think the harder question to answer though is going to be what does this mean? Like we always have, it's been pretty much, if you follow youth football at all, you kind of know this was coming. This was unofficially been the case for several years now, I think.
Absolutely.
Since we already know that he's going to be the next head coach, who's going to be the next defensive coordinator behind him? Are we going to see this team that's been known as a juggernaut for well over a decade plus of being a defense first team, when we pull our second, elite defensive coordinator into the head coaching position here at Utah, where's that going to lead the defense?
I can tell you where. Kalani Sitake, he's going to get fired from BYU any time now. Okay, because they are terrible.
Shots fired, folks.
And he'll be heading back to the U to coach the defense.
All right.
Honestly,
like
I could honestly see Coach Scally continuing to coach the defense.
Oh, you think it's gonna be like,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, kind of like Coach Whitt did. You know what I mean? And then he kind of mentored Scally into the role, and then obviously kind of handed the reins over to him where he was, obviously calling all of the defensive plays and stuff. I could see Coach Scally doing the same kind of thing, taking over as the head coach, still calling the defense, and then until he gets a defensive coordinator that he feels comfortable with, purely handling the defense. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right on that. I'm not too worried about it. I figure that coaching tree is going to be pretty well established at that point.
Yeah.
There's probably somebody already in the mix that they probably already eyeing for that position anyway.
Yeah.
Within the organization. So the next question I have though is the timing of this announcement. And, as we talked about previously on the channel there, we talked about how Nick Saban stepping down and how just the changes in college football and how it's working on now, where they talk about how you have to recruit your own players every single week.
Yeah.
What does this mean for Coach Whitt? Does this mean that he may have told the Utes, where he basically broke it down and said, okay, athletic director, you got these many years with left in me. Do you think this was an announcement ahead of that conversation, or do you think this was something that they know when Coach Whitt's going to hang it up and they want to make sure they get in front of it?
So Coach Whitt was asked this question pretty directly, and he just said as long as he still has a passion for coaching, he doesn't want to miss out on, his grandchildren's life. Obviously, being the head coach of a university, he's missed a lot of his own children's, lives growing up and that kind of stuff. I don't think he wants to do the same thing with his grandchildren. He's been on record saying a few times he doesn't want to coach past the age of 65. Coach Whitt turned 65 this November.
Okay.
So we could very well be watching one of the last seasons that he is the head coach there.
Right.
I do think he still has a passion for coaching. I do think he wants to see how things go in the Big 12 conference. But I think he's definitely on the tail end, right? This could be the last season or two that really Coach Whitt's the head of the program. I think he definitely told them that I'm not going to be around much longer.
Right.
I think he's under contract for a few more years because that he deserves every single penny of the contract they gave him.
Oh, bet. Yeah.
He's the highest paid public employee in the state. So, I think he's definitely on a timer.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I wouldn't say it's like it could be as early as next season because that's what he said, and the coach Whitt's definitely the type of guy who's gonna honor what he says there.
Absolutely.
It's definitely the type of coach he is. But I could also see exactly what your point is there, and word for word what I have in my notes. He may want to see how Utah fares in the Big 12 before he steps away from it.
Because the fact is you win the Big 12, right? You get a shot at the college football playoff, and you win a game, and you make it into a semifinal game. That might not be the only taste you want, right?
Right.
If he makes a deep run into the college football playoff this year, he may be like, let's run it back.
Yeah.
He's got some of the most talented rosters he's ever had as a head coach.
Oh, for sure.
It's only going to get more fun to coach this program the further along they go. And especially if they do win a conference and make it, because now your recruiting just gets even better. So I think he's just kind of playing these next couple seasons by ear and kind of seeing how it goes. And if they have an off season or, something happens this season where they're not, anything, he could just be like, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like last year was a really tough season injury wise for the Utes. And I think that if they can turn it around and have, some of the Cam Rising seasons that we've had in the past, I think he's definitely going to keep having fun with it. And I could see him continuing his coaching career.
Yeah, I agree. One more note on the Utes there. Did you see that all the national polls are coming out now and having the Vegas odds actually that the Utes are going to win the conference?
Yeah.
There was a little bit between Utah and I believe Kansas State.
Yep.
I believe it was the other school. And now we're a full percent. It's only a full percentage point above, but that's still, when Vegas has you winning the conference, that's it's a pretty big thing.
And there's a reason.
Yeah. I mean, we've been saying it already. We called it, a while ago.
Yeah. But check out our Big 12 top 5 rankings.
Yes. We'll link that in the comments down below. Be sure to check that out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, love to see it, man. Congratulations to Morgan Scally for having the official announcement of something that, all of us Ute fans already pretty much knew about anyway.
Absolutely.
It's nice to have it official for sure. All right. So let's go ahead and switch on over to NBA, shall we?
NBA, yeah.
Is that what you have next?
That's what I can have next.
Okay.
Just scrolled past my second thing. Fine.
Oh, okay.
What color are we going with?
I'm going with purple. If I can get there.
Don't make it happen like last week. Remember, it was painful.
Yeah, that was painful. It's because you were pushing the wrong button.
I did. I hit the wrong button like 5 times. Then I just couldn't stop laughing.
It's the mid button, guy. Go
Yeah.
the middle one.
I was going for all buttons.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and break a little bit down about the Utah Jazz, shall we? Now, first, let's go ahead and talk about one of the favorites of the show here.
Wait, pump the brakes. Go back one step. First, we want to talk about we do have a new channel called Utah Jazz DNA. It's for if you are just watching our channel here at DNA Sports Recap, only for the Utah Jazz content. Feel free to jump over there. We do try to clip out some of the videos that just focus on the Utah Jazz content. So you can find all of it there. Make sure you hit subscribe. If you are following that channel only or you're seeing it on this channel, make sure you guys hit subscribe on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap.
Absolutely. We'll be doing a giveaway on this one as well. We'll see probably a jersey giveaway, I think.
Absolutely.
One of those new black jerseys. Look freaking awesome. We should definitely give one of those away, I think. But yeah, so absolutely, guys, make sure you subscribe to that channel. We'd love to see you over on that side, as well as our main channel here on DNA Sports Recap. So let's go ahead and jump into our first subject to discuss on Utah Jazz, which is going to be our boy Chris Dunn.
Man, this is kind of heartbreaking for me.
Yeah, Chris Dunn has signed a contract, apparently signed a contract to play for the Clippers. Now, apparently the Clippers are wanting to work a deal with Utah, which means so they can do more of a sign and trade type deal,
right? Where
they can get him a little bit more money. So there's no real terms that have yet to be released on this, even though
because otherwise he's just a vet min deal, right? They wanted to pay him a little bit more, but he's technically only under contract for this season. So if they don't sign and trade him, he's only going to get a vet min. And I think they do want to give him some more money than that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that approach. He's definitely going to be, he's earned a starting role here with the Jazz. So,
yeah. And honestly, Chris Dunn does deserve more playing time. He is a veteran guy. I think he's going to be a fantastic fit defensively besides Kawhi Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
And with the departure of Paul George, heading over to Philly, I love how this is going to open up some minutes for him to kind of come in, be the floor general that he is. I mean, I love this guy's toughness when he was with the Jazz. He was a great voice out there. He was leading these guys. He was fun to interview. Yeah. Every Chris Dunn interview is a hoot. If you guys get a chance, Google Chris Dunn interviews because they are awesome.
Oh yeah. I loved how he always greeted the social media guy as he's walking off the court off of a win.
Always,
he always had like a soundbite for him. It's so good. He understood what it meant to be a team player. He always had that back pick steal that he just coined, I think, in the year that he was here. So I just think it's really impressive. Good on him, man. I hope he does get that sign trade deal and we get to see more what that contract looks like going forward, because yeah, absolutely. I think it's perfect for him. He does need to be on a contender, being a veteran, and I don't see the Clippers as being contenders. When you give the Beards $70 million for 2 years, I think you're really kind of just waving the right flag there. But he should have some competitive minutes on a competitive team, I think.
Absolutely. And this dude was the locker room presence that the Jazz really needed. Like, as far as a veteran that was going to give you that presence, he was kind of that guy. And the Jazz are going to miss him sorely for that reason. But I am super excited for him. He played his heart out for Utah, and I wish him the best for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So happy trails to you there, Chris Dunn, here at the Utah Jazz DNA and DNA Sports Recap. We really appreciate the time here, and we look forward to seeing how well you perform for the Clippers for sure.
Yep.
All right, so let's go ahead and turn on over to a little bit more on the NBA here, but again, more specifically to the Jazz here. First, let's go ahead and say congratulations to the Boston Celtics on their first NBA championship since 2008, maybe 8, 9-ish everywhere. Boston fans in the comments, let us know what you
I'm sure you're going to.
Yeah, exactly. Let us know in the comments down below. So congratulations to the Boston Celtics. Really great to see them win. They've been to the semifinals and the finals quite often in the last 5-6 years. So really good to see them push that one through. So congratulations on their NBA championship there. But you wanted to actually talk about this a little bit more, didn't you?
Yeah, overlay.
There.
Perfect. Here we are. Yeah, I did want to talk about this because the Boston Celtics are a very unique basketball team in the way that they've built this roster.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we all know Danny Ainge obviously helped assemble some of this roster very early in their days, right?
Right.
He's responsible for drafting Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And I think he's right around the time that he would have been they got Porzingis after, right?
Yeah.
So they made some of these roster moves after. So in this whole blueprint of how this team has been assembled, just to very first go into like roster construction, right? And salaries of these guys. So Jaylen Brown is making $31.8 million. He's on a max contract.
Mm-hmm.
At the time signed, it was the largest contract in NBA history, yada, yada, yada.
Check out the video description below.
It's a great video too. Jason Tatum, exact same thing. He's on a max deal, largest contract when he signed it, $32.6 million a season. And then Jrue Holiday, who they signed last year, that really was the key that brought this team together, right? Jrue Holiday signing was huge for this team because they needed a defensive stopper at the point guard position.
Still to this day does not make any sense to me why Milwaukee traded him for Damian Lillard. What was the point there?
And especially, why did Portland draft him to waive him or trade for him to waive him?
Yeah. It just they traded him.
They traded him. And then they waived him because he could have played for Portland. They traded him for Damian Lillard. He was part of the trade. Right?
No, he didn't get waived. No one got waived from Portland.
Jrue Holiday did. He was part of the
trade.
Traded
to Boston.
Did Portland trade him to Boston?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood that. I thought they waived him.
I could be wrong. It could be waived. Let us know in the comments down below, folks. Let us know if we got that wrong. Was he waived from Portland and picked up by the Celtics, or was he traded from Portland?
I think it's because Portland knew that they weren't a contender and they wanted him to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So they traded for, anyways, $36.8 million, what Jrue Holiday is making.
Yeah.
So he's the highest paid player on the team currently.
Which is insane.
Crazy.
That blows my mind. Crazy.
And then obviously they get Kristaps Porzingis a couple years ago. Over the last offseason? Okay, so they put together Kristaps Porzingis. He's worth $36 million a year. So right there in those four players,
it's like $120 million.
You've got over $130 million in contracts in those four guys.
Wow.
And then you've also got like some good key pieces. Derek White makes $18 million a season. Al Horford, he's obviously like a $10 million a season guy, but again, locker room presence.
Oh, for sure.
Glue guy. Seasoned vet that can just kind of keep you together because all of those guys are pretty young. Even Kristaps, he's been around the league a little bit, but he's still a younger player. He's on the younger side of his career still. So these players were drafted, obviously developed under Brad Stevens' system as he was the head coach. He moves in, Brad Stevens moves up the chain, right? He's now their like director of basketball ops, kind of general manager guy. Yeah. But as far as a blueprint, you look at the guys that they can have on the floor and what sticks out to you as far as what this Boston team's able to do all the time.
Well, they're consistently in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They're able to consistently contend and
game to game, these guys can put shooters on the floor at all five positions.
Right. But which almost got them into trouble a lot, which I think is one of the key exits in the playoffs is the fact that they live and die by their shooting. But
absolutely. But I think it's super important to see that when you have Kristaps at the 5, right? Because that's usually where they're playing him.
Yep.
And even if you have Al Horford at the 5, both those guys can shoot the 3 ball.
Right. Both over 35%, I believe.
Yep. And then you got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, who are obviously deadly. They can score at all 3 levels. Mm-hmm. And then Jrue Holiday, who's a really good 3-point shooter.
Yep. 3-and-D, like the definition of a 3-and-D guy.
Like full on definition. Exactly. So, you bring in probably the best defensive guard in all of the NBA and that can shoot the 3 ball. And then you just continue to throw shooters on this floor through these first 5, 6, 7 guys. I feel like that is just such a key part to why this team has been so successful, because when there's space on the floor, it's really tough to defend any of these teams, right? Like you've got guys all over the floor that can just shoot it. And I mean, really, they've even got more guys. I mean, Sam Hauser, who's, I mean, pretty young, he shot 38% from three this year. Peyton Pritchard, who is a huge part of their playoff run, shot 39% from three. So these guys just got shooting and shooting and shooting. And the roster that these guys have built has just been so impressive to me, based on they've got these four top guys that are just massive salaries. But kind of forgot where I was going with that.
I think where you're going with that was the key role players they were able to build around that, the ancillary pieces to help push them over the top when it comes to their defensive capability. They were one of the best defensive teams in the NBA this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe
Kristaps is no defensive slum either. I mean, he's not the greatest defensive player, but just having a 7-foot guy that can play down there is always going to help you.
Yeah, and he's pretty good at perimeter defense for his size, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can see your point there. So when you're talking about the Boston Celtics, we opened the segment saying is the Boston Celtics the blueprint that the Utah Jazz need to follow? We're already kind of somewhat there by having the same GM that built that team.
Yep.
But kind of play that out. How do you see that?
So, I mean, I guess, okay. Yeah, exactly. So where I guess I'm trying to get is, we need at least two max level contract players, right? Like that's pretty much what you got to have, is at least two guys that are deserve max level contracts, whether they're all-stars, all NBA. That's the only way you get a max level contract. So I think we've got one right now. We've got one in Lauri Markkanen. He is, whether you like to say it or not, whether you're a Jazz fan or not, he's a max level contract player. I mean, I guess my question is, who's that next guy? Is it going to be Taylor Hendricks? Is it going to be Keontae George? One of those guys have to be a max level contract guy that the Jazz have drafted or acquired. And then who is our defensive kind of stopper? And it kind of hurts because I think Chris Dunn was probably that guy on that team. And actually, when I brought the segment up, it was before all of that happened. Team, right? He was the guy.
Right.
So I think we've got some savvy vet kind of guys, as far as, Jordan Clarkson's still on the team. But like you look at our roster construction, and when we're paying John Collins $25.4 million a season, really rough, right? Jordan Clarkson, I think, deserves every bit of the $23 million that we're paying him, as far as he is the savvy vet. He can bring in some shooting. He can spread the floor. Jordan Clarkson's a weapon, even if he is a little bit of a defensive liability. And Colin Sexton is a great piece to this too. So, I mean, I kind of wonder, where do we fit in? Where do we get to that next max contract player? Because that's, I think, the next thing we need. The defensive part of the game, I think we've got some great parts that could potentially be there in Taylor Hendricks. He could be a fantastic defensive player potentially. So I'm really curious to see how we get to, developing this team to be max level players, and then how do we fill out the rest of the team with 3-point shooting that I sincerely think we need to be on that Boston Celtics kind of, projection to get shooting around some of these guys.
Gotcha. Before I get on to my side of that, on this process, let's go ahead and jump into the comments real quick. We've got a comment here from Jonathan Blazer. Am I saying that right? Like, yeah. Phoenix Suns, Utah Jazz today. So the Phoenix Suns are greater than the Utah Jazz. Is that what we're saying? I think that's what you're going at. Phoenix Suns are greater than the Utah Jazz today. I think that's probably an accurate statement there, Jonathan. I'm not going to argue with you on that one too much. The Phoenix Suns are, a playoff team. They were in the first place in the division. In the West for quite a while.
Yeah.
Just the only issue the Phoenix Suns have is they're very top heavy. They have three, all-star three all-star players. They're taking on the majority of their cap space, just like Boston. However, the issue with the issue that Suns has, Boston doesn't, is they've literally got nobody else. You got Booker, you got Durant, and you've got not Buddy Hield. Who am I thinking of? Beal?
Yeah, Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal. That's his name. You got those three guys. None of them stay healthy. None of them stay on the court. And I think that's going to always be a problem for them. They could be the best team in the NBA, but they're just never going to be healthy at the time where they need to be and play together when they need to be, I think.
Yeah.
So to your point, absolutely, you're right on that one, Jonathan, there. But I don't think it really matters who's better than right now. There's probably about 11 teams that are better than the Jazz right now.
If not a lot more. Yeah. In the West, there's 11. Absolutely.
So I definitely agree with you there. But from there, it's exactly to your point there for sure. Once again, folks, please feel free to chime in the comments live there. We'll definitely hit you up there and chat about your comments there. Let us know what you're thinking about, what we're talking about for sure. So to get back onto that there, I first want to address the main point there. Is the Boston Celtics a blueprint for the Utah Jazz? So I'm going to have to first say that they are not.
Okay.
Reason being, I think Danny Ainge is going to have to go a completely different direction and build this team into a winner. We are not the Boston Celtics here in Utah.
Absolutely.
Here's my evidence. Jason Tatum is a number 3 pick overall in 2017. Was voted all rookie first team NBA. All NBA rookie first team in 2018. Jaylen Brown was a number 3 overall pick in 2016. Was voted all rookie second team in 2017. Kristaps Porzingis was the 4th overall pick in 2015. Was first NBA All-Player crowned. Was the first NBA player to be crowned a unicorn back in 2015. The highest pick that the Utah Jazz have on their team right now that contributes at a regular interval is Colin Sexton. He was the 8th overall pick.
Oh wow!
So that's the best we got right now.
Yeah.
And as you do well know, the Utah Jazz are going to have to build throughout the draft.
Yeah.
And again, draft picks, we're talking about drafts, which was how Utah's going to have to build their team. We don't have a single player that's in the top 5 of the draft on this team. So where's that superstar going to come from?
Absolutely.
So we already have that issue. And then the other side of it is that, okay, well, now we're going to do it by trades, big game hunting, different options like that. Well, that didn't work out. We were in the Mikal Bridges trade. Didn't get that one. We tried to trade for Drew Holiday. That didn't happen. We tried to trade for Damian Lillard. That also didn't happen. We've been in every single major trade that has gone on in the NBA over the last 2 seasons. We've put offers for sometimes better offers than what the other team actually got. The players just didn't want to come here.
Yeah.
So the issue we have on the trade market is just as bad as we have in free agency, which is also hard to get players to come in. You have to overpay. And with the new CBA, that's just not a possibility. You can't overpay players nowadays.
No.
So yes, I agree with you 100% that the Jazz do have a player on our team that is a max level guy in Lauri Markkanen. Plenty of rumors that there's offers on the table the Jazz have right now for what they consider a considerably good package from both the Golden State Warriors and also the Sacramento Kings for Lauri. Now, I believe the Kings pivoted off. They had a deadline on theirs, and the Jazz just like, nah. So right now there's a whole lot of skepticism on whether or not Danny Ainge actually wants to move Lauri.
Or if he was just checking his value.
Because there's a lot of players out, a lot of teams that put up good offers for him.
Yeah.
They say would be comparable to what he was asking for, and he just didn't move on them. So I think that piece is here to stay. I think he knew it, but if there was going to be a Godfather offer out there, he probably would have taken it. Like you said, like I've said before in previous episodes, he would trade his mom if it meant for 3 first-round picks. So
yeah, to this day.
Yeah, to this day, I still say that's the case. But yeah, so that's why I'm thinking that they're going to have to go a completely different way on how to achieve the ultimate goal of bringing a championship here. Yeah, you have the right guy who's not afraid to trade his mom away. And you have the person there who's not going to be, connected to the players to the point where he isn't afraid to move a player that isn't working. And if you ever listen to him talk in press conferences, he's like, yeah, we put this team together. We gave it the first half of the season to see where they were. And yeah, they started off on a great start, but once teams started figuring us out, we realized we started losing games we should have won. And so we had to punt. We had to do something else. We had to change it up. That's his excuse for 2023.
Yeah.
So, I'd have to say that they are not the blueprint. They're going to have to go a completely different way than how the Boston Celtics were built in order for them to win a championship here in Utah. And I really need to know what that is.
Yeah.
Because as it sits right now, maybe it is, maybe they are the blueprint, but that blueprint doesn't start yet.
Right. If they are the blueprint, we haven't gotten to the first step of that blueprint yet.
We're going to have to restart this whole 20 months rebuild all over again.
Right.
If we're going to do that. And we need to know, we're going to need to see that type of change right now And the only way we would have seen that is if we did trade Lauri Markkanen, which we haven't yet.
Yeah.
So if we were going to do this model, unfortunately, they're going to have to do it a different way because I don't think that we don't have the draft spots unless we start from now. We don't have the draft capital. We also don't have the ability to bring free agents or trade for players that we need here.
Yeah, because nobody wants to come to Utah.
I wouldn't say nobody wants to come to Utah. It is a hard place to get players to come to.
So if that's the case, do you think we tried to, I mean, really the issue is even like San Antonio and the way that they've built their rosters, because that's a similar market as far as Salt Lake City and San Antonio. Yeah, but they also decided to tank all the way, where Utah never went all the way to tank.
Yeah, which is the way you do it. I said repeatedly on this show, right now we should be staring down the fact that we have Victor Wembanyama on our team, and we're front runners to get Cooper flagged next year. Like that's where the Jazz should be right now.
Right.
And we're not there because we just didn't do it the right way.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. So, hopefully Danny Ainge has a trick up his sleeve that we're not aware of. And there's a different option out there because, unless we're starting today for the draft next year, we're going to have to figure it out. Because as it sits right now, the Jazz have kept all three of their picks both years.
Right.
And we now have 6 players on the team that are below the age of 21, 20?
Yeah. 6 or 7.
Yeah. We have all these rookies. And again, they're all going to, some of them are restashed in the G League. Not all of them are going to get minutes, but yeah. So I don't know what we're planning on doing here, but that actually does bring me to the next point I want to talk about, which is going to be the Donovan Mitchell contract extension with Cleveland. Because that does go on to talk about how that affects the Jazz, I think. So you want to break down the contract?
No, you can break it down.
Okay. So Donovan Mitchell signs a 3-year extension worth $150.3 million with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So while that's great, first of all, hats off, Donovan Mitchell. Spida, you were a longtime Jazz guy here. I absolutely loved what you gave to the team. You gave it your all. And in the end of it, we traded you. You didn't leave, the circumstances behind that trade, there might be conversations there, but while you were here, you gave us all your great. So congratulations on that contract extension there. You earned every penny of that. So good on you. How this affects the Jazz, though? Do you understand how this? Do you want to go into that, or do you want me to break that part down?
I want you to break it down because I'm curious where you're going with this.
Okay, so how that affects the Utah Jazz. First of all, it totally devalues the main reason we trade Donovan Mitchell in the first place. The 3 first-round unprotected draft picks that we were going to get for the Cavs were 2025, 2027, and 2029. Ainge made this trade with Donovan Mitchell, knowing that there was probably no way that Cleveland was going to hold on to Dom. He was straight to New York or straight to Miami after this contract.
Yeah.
So these next 3 picks, the next 3 years of picks that we have, they're unprotected first-rounders,
are with Dom.
We're supposed to be when Cleveland wasn't any good. Now that Dom siding again, and they're still a destination for other players to come to because they are a perennial playoff team right now, that makes those 3 picks not nearly as valuable. These aren't lottery picks anymore. These are late first-round picks now. Maybe the 2029 pick will be good because that's after the 3 years, and Donovan Mitchell will be in the twilight of his career and probably want to go somewhere else at that point, chase a ring maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that was the main value of this trade in the first place, was those 3 unprotected first-round picks. Now, granted, we did get Lauri Markkanen out of this deal, so that definitely helps impact that blow a little bit. But so that's kind of hurts the Jazz there.
Yeah, that's actually pretty crazy to think because, realistically, there's a lot of players in the league that would go to Cleveland just to play with Donovan. I mean, he is that level of player that players do want to team up with. He's a great off-the-ball weapon. He's not, ball dominant. Iffy, right? He's not a super ball dominant player, realistically.
He is ball dominant in crunch time. I will say that. Like when it comes down to it, he wants the ball in his hands, but he's not relying on that to be efficient on the offensive end. So I just, with that team and how well they're built and how young they are, they're going to have the next 3 years are going to be a good years for this Cleveland team. They're going to be a playoff team, which we were hoping some of these would be, lottery draft picks that we're going to get out of this. And those first 2 are definitely not going to be that. They're going to be late first round picks.
Yeah.
And so that kind of really stinks, So
yeah, absolutely. That's kind of, I really didn't even think about it that way. I had some notes on it, but I was like, I don't really see where you're going with this, but I didn't even put together that he's absolutely going to be on that team that we're getting the draft picks from.
Yeah. And they're not going to be any worse than they are now.
Yeah.
In fact,
yeah, late first rounders, like you said.
Yeah, they're only going to get better, when they decide what they're going to do with Garland and what have you there, because that's a kind of a dual thing where they're both not working out when they're together.
Yeah, like all we can hope for is that Cleveland at some point goes into a rebuilding mode and ships Donovan off now that he's under contract. But the problem is anybody else going to pay $50 million for Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, and who has the cap space for that? Definitely not New York, definitely not Miami, which
Neither
is the
one of
only
those
two
teams.
destinations.
Yeah.
Maybe Brooklyn, possibility.
Yeah, they might have the cap space, but do they feel like they have
they don't have a contender.
Complete enough roster that they're going to bring Donovan in for?
Yeah, well, that's the only benefit there is he's going back on New York. So
yeah,
but yeah, so basically that's kind of like to our point that we were talking about just before when it comes to the Boston Celtics blueprint. The picks that we were hoping to get that would be decent picks that potentially we could build around, those picks aren't coming from that team. And where are the other picks coming from? They're coming from the Timberwolves, which also is a playoff team that made to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, one of the best teams in the league, really.
Yeah, so we're running into that same problem on both sides of the fence here. Now, there are some picks, before I hear you in the comments, there are some picks that are coming from other teams. Yes, I know that. But really, the key pieces were going to be those teams' unprotected first-round picks, and we lost them.
Yeah.
So unless they blow up the Timberwolves this year, which I don't see them doing.
Not with how good they were.
Yeah. So, it's just.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards isn't going to get all of a sudden worse overnight. Like they lose Cat. They could easily replace him, with somebody else that could.
Cat's probably the most replaceable player on that team, realistically.
Yeah, you can't trade Rudy's contract. He's getting paid way too much money, and he's worth too much to him defensively. So,
well, yeah, because they made the huge leap once they got Rudy.
Yeah.
Like realistically, that was the move that kind of moved them into the next tier, was having Rudy defensively.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean that's basically where I'm sitting on both of those options there. Why I don't think Boston's the blueprint, and what Donovan's contract means when it comes to that. They kind of play together there a little bit. So
yeah,
I don't know. What do you think?
No, I mean, I think you absolutely nailed it. And it's kind of funny that I didn't actually look at it from that perspective, that, all these players that we moved away, were in efforts to, bring back in lottery picks, but realistically, that's not happening on either one of those teams that we move those contracts to, because both those teams are excellent now that they have those potential players.
Yeah, now they have those players.
Yeah.
I do think there is a saving grace in that I didn't think about. That it's very possible that Donovan Mitchell signed a max contract and then he'll demand a trade after next year if they don't do anything in this offseason. I do think that might be a possibility. So but where's he going to go?
I don't know if I see Don as the type of player that demands a trade. I mean, he rumoredly did it with the Jazz that he wanted to potentially move out of here when his contract was up, but
he let know he wasn't resigning here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, when you're in the twilight of your prime, when you only got a few more good years left of your prime, you might get a little more
antsy. Yeah.
And he's definitely for player empowerment. We learned that here the hard way. So I don't know. I see that happening, but now that I just spent a little bit of time dunking on the Jazz and how I don't think they're doing the rebuild at all right, and how they're just not doing things the way they should be. I just spent all the time taking a dump on my favorite team in the NBA.
Yeah, that was hurty. I need a drink after that.
Let me tell you why you should go to as many Jazz games this year as you possibly can. Okay. So this is it. This year, this is it. For those of you who have never been to a Jazz game, you may not know this, but this arena that they play in, the Delta Center, since the 90s was built specifically for an NBA basketball, and more specifically by Larry H. Miller, meant to be the most intimidating and loud arena in the NBA. Fans are so close to the court. And again, we've never had a game. We've never been to a game. If you've never been to a game and you've never been in these stands, you've never seen the way the way it's been built with that unique slope that makes it feel like the fans are right on top of the court. As soon as after maybe this next offseason, they're going to start remodeling the arena to make it better suited for both an NHL team. Frozen Fury games, if you've been to those, you know how they had to push back the seats in order to fit an ice rink. Once the Jazz remodel the arena, once the Smiths group, once SCG remodels the arena, it's going to have a different feel. I'm not going to say it's going to be a bad experience, but I am going to tell you that it's never going to be the same.
Wow. You're absolutely right. So, yeah, because once they remodel the arena, even if they can get it back, because like some of the way that I hear is that they're trying to pretty much cut it so that they can still get seats all the way up to the NBA floor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, because that's what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to cut out that bottom section of the arena and make those all retractable so they can get them back out of the way and then put them back in, or that suits both.
Right.
But it'll never be the Delta Center again.
It will never be this way. The slope is for the lower bowl. It's going to have to change. That angle is going to have to change.
Yeah.
You're never going to have the feeling that any team, name any team on any players, any player on any team that comes here, they say this is one of the hardest places to play because how much the fans are. It's the true six man here in Utah.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to the fans. And yeah, with this changing, like I said, it's not necessarily going to be a bad experience, but this is it. This is the last year you're going to be able to feel that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I've been in, whatever it was previously called before, but the Delta Center for multiple playoff games. And I'm going to tell you, you step into that place, the whole arena is buzzing. And as soon as that first shot goes in, it is deafening.
Yeah.
And it is like that, the absolute whole game. And it's funny because all these players that come and they play and they're like, oh, this experience is so fun. There's so many, it's loud in here. A playoff Utah Jazz game is absolutely insane because every single person in that arena is yelling at the top of their lungs. It's 20,000 people of absolute just loudness. And it is so much fun. But a lot of it has to do with the way the arena was constructed and the way that it can, move the sound down and the way that that's crazy, dude. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Something I wanted to touch on for the last couple of weeks because we know this is going to happen.
Yeah.
More on this episode a little bit later and how that's going to happen and when that's going to happen. But again, folks, to all of our Utah Jazz fans out there, if you love this Jazz team and you love the experience that you have when you go to a Jazz game, this year is going to be the last year that you're going to be able to do that. So make sure you take full advantage of that and go to as many Jazz games as you can.
Yep.
For sure.
For sure.
Once again, folks, we want to thank all y'all for watching this on this channel here. We did start our very own channel for the Utah Jazz called Utah Jazz DNA. It is a channel specifically for Utah Jazz content. If you are watching this on this channel, Utah Jazz DNA, we'd like to appreciate you. Thank you for finding the channel. Please feel free to subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell. We will be doing a giveaway on this channel as well, where we'll be giving away one of those sick new Utah Jazz black jerseys. So make sure you're tuned in. Make sure you're subscribed. Once this channel is monetized, we'll be giving one of those away. So once again, if you are watching this on the Utah Jazz DNA channel, we want to thank you for tuning into this channel and please subscribe. If you are watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, that channel will be linked in the description below. So make sure you check that out. All right. You got anything else on the Utah Jazz?
Nope. That's what I got, buddy.
All right. So should we pivot over to a little bit of hockey, shall we?
Absolutely.
Should we go with more of a light blue, right? Because that's kind of our color scheme for that team. We should get to that.
There it is. Oh, no. It was there.
It's this one.
There it is.
Yeah. It's more of a turquoisey, but when it hits the blue wall, it gives it that green color for sure. All right. First, before we get into content, we want to talk to you about our Utah Hockey DNA channel. We have launched a channel specifically for the Utah hockey team. This is where you're going to find all the videos that we talk about Utah Jazz. This is where you're going to find all the content on Utah hockey. On this Utah Hockey Club is going to be on this channel first. We will still be sharing it on our main channel on on DNA Sports Recap. But make sure you subscribe to this channel if you're following us for our hockey content. We'll be giving away one of those Utah Hockey Club jerseys this year once this channel is monetized. So if you have not yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway. And again, smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there.
Bring it. Appreciate it.
All right. Don't you love that logo, dude? It's just fire, dude. I absolutely love
it.
Absolutely
I love that logo.
It's a great logo. All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about our hockey team. So a lot of has gone down since we last spoke here. We definitely want to get into that. So first of all, let's go ahead and talk about the draft, shall we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They had 11 picks.
Yeah.
11 total selections in the 2024 draft. And obviously, is it Tige Iginla? Tige Iginla. These names, dude, they kill me.
It's Tige.
Tige?
Yeah. Tige Ignala.
Sorry,
Tige Ignala. Tige Ignala. I'm sorry, hockey fans. You're going to butcher us on that. His dad's actually a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So, Tige Ignala, I believe is how you say the name. I'm probably saying that wrong. Let us know in the comments down below, folks. We're new to this hockey thing, so any knowledge you can help it expand our way, we'd love to absorb that because we
do know that he was the first pick from the Utah Hockey Club all time.
Yes, first time. Now, before we get into the picks, I do want to talk about the atmosphere there at the draft there. Did you see the draft at all? Did you get a chance to catch any of this?
I don't know if I did.
So the NFL draft was on June 28th at the Sphere in Vegas.
Okay.
You know that big freaking thing?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, when you're driving through Vegas, it's not even on. You can't see it from the highway for probably good reasons. You know, there's probably a lot of accidents, but I drove through the area recently and I was looking for the Sphere, didn't see it. But before we discuss the picks there, I do want to talk about it. The Smiths were there, Ryan Smith and also our main our general manager there was also there. And did you hear that they got booed when they got introduced, when they got on stage?
Really?
The Smiths got booed. He said, and Ryan Smith, being the guy that he is, says, "You can't boo us. We haven't even done anything yet." And so they continue to boo even louder. He's like, "I like it. Let's go." And he started waving his hands in the air. And so my question to you is, why do you think that the crowd there at the Sphere in Vegas was booing the Smith Group, SEG?
I mean, the only thing that I could think of is he's some tech billionaire that just bought a hockey team and plucked it straight out of the state of Arizona.
That's probably a good point. That's probably a good point for sure. My guess is there's a lot of Colorado fans and a lot of Vegas fans that are in that arena. That's probably where they figured out. And also definitely some Yote fans who are probably disgruntled, that were not happy. It wasn't necessarily the Smith groups, the SEG, like the Smiths themselves, or the front office for the Utah Hockey Club. They were actually booing. I think they were more booing about the fact that the way the NHL handled the whole Coyotes situation.
Right.
You know, the Desert Dogs were kind of...
For the record, we did call it.
We did call it. Yeah, we did.
There's evidence on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
check
it out.
It wasn't a big secret, wasn't it? But we did call it for sure.
But still.
But yeah, so yeah, I think it's great. I think the Smiths handled it perfectly in that scenario. And I do like the way they announced their first pick. It was the Smiths that announced it, and I think it was great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Tej there?
Yeah. No, I don't have that much on Tej.
Okay. You got it.
How about you break down Tej?
Okay. For the first pick for the Utah Hockey Club, Tej was our first pick, 6th overall. He was a forward out of Kelowna, which is the WHL league there. He's 6 foot solid. He's 6 foot tall, 192 pounds. He's a 17-year-old, and he's born in Lake County, British Columbia, Canada. He is a lefty offensive forward. He's usually the first in his exchanges. As he enters the boards with an opponent, he takes a step into their space and knocks them off balance. He goes out of his way to initiate contact, leaving the puck behind temporarily to intercept the opponent with his shoulder. That's a rare instance of that he's not first to the puck, but he traps the opponent's feet and then the board, and chops the opponent's feet to the boards and times it perfectly to do a stick lift. This is according to the Elite Prospects 2024 NFL Draft Guide.
NHL?
Sorry.
You said NFL.
Sorry. And
maybe he's going to play football this year.
Maybe he's going to play football this year too.
I like it.
The Elite Prospects 2024 NHL Draft Guide. At the time of recording, he remains unsigned. So what's your take on this kid?
I mean, from what I saw on this kid, he looks super talented. The Utah Hockey Club needed some offensive prospects, right? Someone that can actually get up the ice and actually make some moves.
Mm-hmm. Well, somebody where Clayton's not taking it the full.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. I mean,
yeah.
Clayton Keller's, he is the centerpiece of this team, but realistically, you need somebody that's kind of in the ranks that's going to come in and from everything that I've read, he's got a huge chance to actually contribute to this team immediately. Yeah. So this is fantastic. I love the pickup. And then pretty much Utah goes on a slew of just recruiting defensive people. You want to go on to the next one, Cole Boydoin. What details you got on him? He was drafted 24th overall.
Yeah, second pick for the Utah was 24th overall. He is.
We had some cool things to put on the screen.
Oh, too. For crying out loud, man, for sure. Yeah, so we've got Cole. He was. Where was I here? Yeah, he's from Barrie. He was the Ontario Hockey League. He is an 18-year-old, 6'2", 209 pounds total. He recorded a 28, 34, 62 line in 67 games during the 2023-2024 season. For those of you who don't know hockey like we don't, that is 24 goals, 34 assists, and so for a total of 62 points total in 67 games last season. Ranking second among his team in assists and third in goals and points. He also led the team with 12 power play goals, had a four game winning goals, and added 3 shorthand goals as well. Barry's was the alternate captain. Also tallied 2, 3, and 5 in his 6 playoff games, which is 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points total in 6 playoff games. Great at driving to the puck out of traffic to the center ice, and gets open near the net for tap-ins.
Great. Love this guy too, actually.
Yeah, so good pickup there for sure. I think that, again, a whole lot of this definitely seems like to be a whole lot more offense than I was expecting them to draft at the beginning of the draft for sure. They really talked a lot about needing the big defensive players that they were looking for, but as you covered on a previous episode, a lot of that happened in the signings that they had.
Yeah, they actually made some moves to pick up some defensive people.
Yeah, so which is great. But we got our third pick here, which is going to be Will Scahan. I think you're right on that. Will Scahan there. Again, folks, we're new to the sport, so we're new with these names for sure. It gets really fun when we start getting into the Finnish names and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's going to get real treat.
We want to hear it from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below how well we're doing on these for sure. So I think this the third pickup, 65th overall, they took this Will kid from the U.S. National Development Team. So he's a defenseman. So this was a defenseman they picked up.
That's where it starts.
6'4", 211 pounds. He was in 24 games during the 2023-2024 season, and he registered a 4, 2, and 6, which is 4 goals, 2 assists at 6 points total. He had 51 penalty minutes and had a plus minus of 17, third best on his team. He also won a gold medal for Team USA, the 2022 17 and under World Hockey Championship. The World Hockey Challenge, and he also won a silver medal with Team USA in the IIFH under 18 Men's World Championship. He's committed to play for Boston College for 2024-2025.
Yep. So he won't be on the roster this upcoming season.
No.
But he's a future player. I love the pickup. I think it's kind of cool in hockey that you can actually draft somebody while they're still committed to play to college.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? Like you've got eyes on them. They've kind of got a season to go develop and play a little bit at the next level before you kind of take them in and, bring them up to the NHL. So
yeah, you basically just buying their rights basically when you draft them,
absolutely,
which I think is really kind of cool.
Yeah.
Great way to do it. We do that. They do that in the NBA with international talent a lot too.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the pick.
So round 3, 89th overall, Tomas Iavoe, the defenseman from Cape Breton.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got on him?
He's from the QMJHLB, so the Quebec Men's Junior Hockey League. If I got that acronym right.
Yep, I think
First
so.
Try. He's 6'4", 225 pounds, appeared in 65 games last season, registering 3 goals, 21 assists for a total of 24 points during the regular season, and also had 1 goal and 2 assists, which is 3 points total in 14 playoff games last year. So pretty good.
Great pickup too.
Yeah.
96th overall, Finnish defenseman Vidi Viasanen. This guy was ranked 21st overall among the European players. What do you got on him?
Yeah, so from Kuku. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know if that's the right name. Let me know in the comments down below, folks. So I got that right. He's probably one of those, with the exception of our first draft pick. I think he's the smallest, actually. He is 6'1", 187 pounds. He also posted 2, 8, and 10, so 2 goals, 8 assists for 10 points in 50 games, ranked 21st among Euro skaters by the NHL scouts. So, that's I think that's pretty. I don't know a lot about this one. I'm glad we have another Finnish player on the team, because they do a great job over there with talent. So I'd like to see where he comes, how he falls in this team, but. fifth pick, who knows when he gets up there. I don't know too much about how the farm system works in hockey, so let me know in the comments down below, folks, where I'm at on that one. But yeah, so as far as the fifth overall pick, I think it's a good pick up there. Defenseman, again, we need defense, and we need some good defense there down the ranks, so we can, next man up mentality, we have somebody to come up for that. So
yeah, absolutely. I would say for the next probably 6 picks, we'll just kind of go over who they drafted, just to kind of feel them out.
Yeah.
So 98th overall, they have Gregor Bieber. He's a from Sweden junior. He's a defenseman. 103rd overall, they have Gabe Smith. He's from the Quebec Men's Junior Hockey League as well. In round 5, they do 135th overall. They have forward Owen Allard. 153rd overall, they have defenseman Alex Ketch. Round 6, they have 167th overall forward Votek Hradek. 190th overall, they have defenseman Ludwig Lafton from the Sweden Junior League. So that kind of rounds out the 11 picks that they had in this year's 2024 NHL draft. I mean, it looks like they got a ton of good talent. I don't know, like you said, I'm not exactly sure how some of these junior leagues work, and all these players, I'm sure, are not going to make the roster.
Right.
They obviously have a full roster. So I'll be curious to see if, in some of the developmental play, how some of these guys come along.
Oh yeah, love to see it. We're going to look forward to it. And they're definitely the AAA affiliate, I guess is what you could call it, the Junior Hockey League affiliate for our team, is still in Phoenix, still owned by the Coyotes' former owner down there. So we'll see about how that works out.
Yeah.
But yeah, great draft class. It was good to see the picks they made. It was good to see like the strategy they went with. It's really good to see how this front office for the Utah Hockey Club is going to really build this team out. And like I said, man, we're not the only ones to think this, but we said in our when we went to the debut of the team there, they have a shot at surprising people and making it into the NHL playoffs first year out the gate. So
yep, video coming soon on that.
Yeah, puncher's chance on that for sure. We'll go ahead and cover that in greater detail. But yeah, really excited about that. Actually, we're going to go ahead and show you this graphic here of our top draft prospect there, Teej right there. One thing I wanted to bring up on that is take a look at that sweater. Take a look at that jersey. Do you see that?
Yeah, that
okay.
thing's sweet.
So before we get into the jerseys there, we got a little bit more to talk about when it comes to the NHL jerseys. We'll get to that in a second here. But I really want you to look at those two and really kind of take a look at those and kind of see, first of all, what stands out to you there. First thing that jumps out to me on these jerseys is they do not match the jerseys that we showed the schematics on last week.
Right.
These are completely unique. And you know why that is?
Why is that?
So the SEG decided, because obviously they couldn't get these mocked up and have them ready for them based off of who they're going to draft and all that stuff. So what they did is they came up with an idea to actually make custom one-off jerseys that are only going to be one of ones that these players get on draft night, and they're going to be the only ones ever created.
That's so cool.
One of one. So nobody in the future that's ever drafted by this team is ever going to have these particular jerseys that you see on the screen there. So
I wonder how they knew. Like, I wonder how they had that guy's name on the jersey already. They must have had like 4 or 5 picks.
Where they just have them screen printed ready to go.
Yeah, they just had them screen printed and ready to roll.
Yeah, my guess is that they had they probably do. They probably have like 6 of these things laying back there on their top 6 picks, and they just.
How cool would it be to get a hold of one of the other ones that wasn't drafted by Utah?
Yeah, that happens to be on the board. My guess is those were destroyed. It's my guess for sure. But yeah, anyway, I think that's super interesting there that those were one-offs there that the Smiths did specifically for those folks that got drafted as the inaugural draft class for the Utah Hockey Club. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, really cool. It's also pretty cool because like Fanatics takes over, obviously as the league's official outfitter for uniforms this year, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, lots of really cool stuff came out on the jerseys. I think it's pretty interesting. Fanatics actually took advice from like NHL trainers on the new design for all these new jerseys. And I mean, even just all the way down to like the elbows being worn from players, battling along the boards and stuff. So Fanatics built in, some additional padding and stuff, layers on those jerseys. And then, I mean, they even encouraged some of like the star NHL players, Connor McDavid, Nikita Kucherov, to go test drive some of these prototypes before they push these jerseys into mass production, which is really cool. I mean, after Fanatics had, you think of the MLB and Nike taking over their jerseys and the issues that they had.
Yeah.
As far as they were just purely focused on what the jerseys looked like aesthetically versus how were they actually for the players. So it's really kind of cool to see Fanatics kind of take these overs and worried about how they fit and how they're functional versus how the aesthetics to players.
I actually had to do a switch on that for you. I think the MLB ones, and I don't want to spend too much time on this because we're not talking about baseball right now, but I think they focus too much on the performance aspect of it, of making them lighter, making them more better performing jerseys versus better looking. Because anybody can tell you that those jerseys do not look good.
No.
Anybody. But what I do say that Fanatics did a great job with is what Nike screwed up with the baseball jerseys, is that Fanatics is doing a much better job of listening, like you said, to the players and how they want their uniforms and their jerseys to perform versus what Nike thinks they should do.
Right.
So
right.
Absolutely. And it's really funny because we showed the schematic, and it's we'll put it up on the screen here on the video in post here, but on what the makeup was for the Utah hockey jersey. And at the time, again, with Fanatics taking over, that was the first rendering that was given. That if you zoomed in really tight, you'd see that had the Fanatics logo on there. So it was actually the Fanatics team that gave that
rendered
logo
it for them. Yeah.
to the Utah Hockey Club to display. So that was the first rendering, first mock-up when that one came out that anybody saw at the time, which I think is really awesome. I don't know. I think Fanatics is going to do a much better job at the hockey jerseys than they did with the Nike screwing up the baseball ones. I can't wait to get my hands on one of these and see what they look like and compare them to, what they were before. Because, I'm much more optimistic about these ones.
And honestly, the jerseys are actually being made by the same manufacturer. So SP Apparel out of Canada is the one that's actually putting the jerseys together. Yeah. They've been doing NHL jerseys for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be much different. You know what I mean? But Fanatics is obviously managing it. They've got their logo on the front of it. And it's just pretty cool to see
they're
that they're trying to be right by the players, not the fans.
Yeah, they're picking the style, they're picking the material, they're picking, they're the ones, the same place is making it, but the same, they have their hands in it for sure.
Absolutely.
Which is unlike the baseball jerseys. Fanatics don't really have a hand in that at all, So I really like that. I think that's awesome. Now, before we move on, I do want to talk a little bit more on hockey when it comes to the team itself here and the developments we've heard a little bit over the last little bit when it comes to the renovations. We talked on a previous segment on our Utah Jazz DNA channel where we talked about how the arena is never going to be the same again after this year.
Yeah.
And we now have evidence onto why that is, and we'll get into that here in a second. I want to talk more locally. So now let's go ahead and talk about the Delta Center and the entertainment district that they're building. Some new information's come out about that and how they plan on spending that. This came out earlier in the week. I want to kind of get that out there and get in front of our audience there a little bit and get some feedback from you guys there. So those of you who are local will know that SB 272 was approved back in February for $900 million to revive the downtown area for the use of an NBA/NHL franchise.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we now have a little bit more information on to what that's going for, how that's going to be broken up. Right. So $525 million is set for a renovation of the Delta Center. That's what the SCGs put out. So $525 million is going towards that. The remainder, which is $375 million, is going to be going to the entertainment district. So 525 is going to renovating the Delta Center, making it a dual arena, and then 375 is going towards the entertainment district. At first take, it seems like what they're going to be doing is taking care of the arena first to get that squared away. So they have both, so it fits both the NHL and NBA. And then start on the district after that.
Right. And that's going to be done in 3 different phases. Did you see that?
Yes.
They released the general kind of plan as far as it's going to start initially. They're going to do the first phase of renovation inside the Delta Center. And then they're going to move on to the next phase. So pretty much every summer between the NHL and NBA seasons, they're going to try to make these massive renovations.
Yeah.
Inside the Delta Center, one side, the other side. And then hopefully be done with the whole renovation by 2027.
Yeah, that's a key piece there that we want to touch on because that has a lot to do with how with the fact that they're using public money. So the fact that they're using public money, everything has to be done by 2034. So to mention there, we talked about the phases. Here's the phases up on the screen right now. Again, 2024 is where they're going to basically design, do a little bit of stuff there, but basically between April 2025 and October 2025. So after the hockey and NBA season is over, that's really when they're going to start, tearing it down and really building it out for a dual purpose arena there. So we'll also,
They are doing some stuff this year, though.
Yeah, as you see there on the right there, you can see that they are going to be doing some stuff when it comes to that. They're adding additional seating, and some other stuff there for sure. But really, kind of the key piece to this is going to be
big construction starts April 2025.
April 2025 for the arena. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, definitely some breakdown there. But like you said, looks like it's all set to be completed by October 2027.
Yep.
So that's the goal there. We'll see what happens there. It'll be the first construction progress in mankind history to be done when it's supposed to be done. So we'll see if that actually happens or not. But anyway, so that's kind of basically be how it's broken down. It all has to be done by 2034. It also requires them to pledge 30 years of playing the majority of their games at the Delta Center for both the Utah Jazz and the Utah Hockey Club. They're looking for 100 acres. And they're also going to be needing to sign a lease for those 100 acres. And here's the biggest part here, because I wanted to touch on this and I want to get your feedback on this.
Yeah.
So we're going to throw this up on the screen here. This is the territory, the 100 acres that they're looking for. The first thing that jumps out to me is you're going to see the standard stuff that you're going to expect to see. You got the what we all knew about. You got the actual arena area there, which is that center square. Then you got the whole Bravenel Hall and everything off to the right there to the east. But what's new is that western section. They have that the district area there also blocked off.
Which is, if you're local here in Utah, that is City Creek Center. Or sorry.
That's not City Creek. No,
not City Creek. That is the Gateway.
The Gateway, yeah.
The Gateway Mall, like pretty much the whole area of Gateway, the whole, like the road that runs through it, all of Gateway Mall.
All of Gateway, yeah, exactly. They just did a whole bunch of renovations on that area to make it more of a eatery area.
Yeah, more food through there. I mean, it's a really pretty, like it's a social area where there's a lot of outdoor seating, fireplaces like right on the sides of the roads. They do like New Year's events there. It's a really cool area downtown, but it has been kind of slowly declining
since City Creek opened up. Yeah,
since City Creek opened up, which is an indoor mall, a little bit east of where the Delta Center is in downtown Salt Lake City.
Yeah, so I think that's first of all, I think that's awesome, because that's, if you go to a Jazz game here, you know that's you basically park at the Gateway area.
Yeah, you have to park in Gateway. It's got the best underground parking. You can walk to the arena in like 2 or 3 minutes, which is very convenient. But like you said, you pretty much have to own that section of land, because that is where all the parking is for the Delta Center.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, that's kind of what we want to touch on there a little bit. So that's kind of interesting there. That those are the 100 acres. Now, also, again, in order to get that, they need to sign a lease with the Salt Lake County. And SEG has also promised $3 billion of their own investment in this as well.
Right.
So when we're like, oh, why are we renovating, or why would taxpayers' money go into that? And why is the majority of it going to the arena, not to the town, not to the area, to revitalize the area? Because you specifically on a previous episode mentioned how much the downtown area is needed of renovation.
Absolutely.
Why are they spending the majority of the money on the arena versus the downtown area? This is why the SCG group is investing up to $3 billion of their own money to renovating the area. Now, again, this also comes with they want to get zoning changes, where they change the zoning laws. Right now, there's a cap where they can't do any buildings above 40 stories. They want that to be raised to where they can allow 40-story plus buildings of up to 605 feet tall. That's what they want to do in that area. And what I think is really interesting is that the Salt Lake County is not on the hook if the 0.5% sales tax does not generate the $900 million necessary. So there's estimated between $900 million to $1.2 billion that can be generated out that tax in that time frame. But
they're like, if you don't get it, that's your issue, not ours.
if the local people, if the people get pissed and don't shop down there anymore because they don't want to pay that tax, that's right. It's on the SCG to make up the difference, which I think is awesome. I think that's great. Again, I know we mentioned it earlier before we went on the air there. There's also going to be some philanthropy involved. They're going to be donating money towards affordable housing in Utah. SCG will be adding a ticket fee to all tickets sold at Delta Center, which is a $1 fee for anybody who has a ticket less than $15, a $2 ticket fee of any ticket up to
$250,
up to $200.
Oh, okay,
and then a $3 ticket fee for any ticket above $200. So that's going to be the fee system. So next time you go to a Jazz game or go to anything at the Delta Center, you'll notice that things are a little bit more expensive before Is it because we're adding that additional fee there? So your thoughts on all this?
I mean, I think a lot of this stuff we kind of figured was coming, right? I mean, I knew that, them only renovating the area east of where the Delta Center is, just didn't seem like it would be enough space, right? Like they were going because my thought in that whole thing is like, where the hell are people going to park at?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're going to renovate this huge, massive area. You want to put 40-story buildings in there. You're adding thousands of people into that area that you have zero parking for. Because if you live in Salt Lake City and you've been downtown, the only parking in that area is in the gateway.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they want to own that. At least they can get a piece of that pie.
They have to. I mean, they have to get the parking structure in there. And honestly, some of that area is a little bit west of the gateway, which there's actually some unrenovated area they could probably put even additional parking in there. And you're going to need 5 or 6 more stories of parking in those places too.
Right.
I mean,
just imagine leaving after a Jazz playoff game down Salt Lake City.
I mean, it's a nightmare as it is, and there's only 20,000 people there.
Yeah, it's going to be a nightmare.
But you would think, I mean, you would think that with some of that, they're also going to, obviously make the public transportation into that area, tracks and that kind of stuff a little bit more accessible, where it'll drop you off, not just on the north side of it.
Courthouse people, when you guys drop off at the courthouse, if you know, you know.
Terrible.
Huh?
It's terrible. That parking area down there is just terrible.
Okay, we're going to talk about that off the air because I don't want to give away my secret.
Okay.
For how I park for a Jazz game, so we're talking about that off the air. But anyway,
I just park Gateway. So
yeah, it's a park Gateway. Pay the $15. It's good to go.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you there. But yeah, so poor Darren would have an awesome way to park for downtown. So
I want your secret.
We'll talk about it off the air for sure. I don't want to give.
Yeah, maybe if you guys leave us a comment, we'll hook you up.
Yeah, let us know in the comments down below, folks. Let us know what you think. Where do you like to park for Jazz games? Where you can find the best parking and stuff like that for sure. One more thing here I do want to talk about when it comes to the this $900 million is the tax increase that's going to happen so they can get the funding for this has to be approved still by the county by the end of the calendar year.
Right. So
that's crunch time, man. That's 6 months.
Clock's ticking. Yeah.
That's 6 months for sure. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few comments here that we want to hit up for sure. First one is going to be, this is from Michelle McKinnon. I avoid the downtown mostly due to the parking.
You know how it is. Thank you.
Michelle, you're right on that. Right on that. And also there, I must know the secrets. Yeah. So, we'll see about doing that. Go ahead and drop us a message there. Drop us a comment, and we'll shoot you a message there on that one. But for sure, there is a free way to get to park for the Jazz.
I can't believe you haven't told me the secret. I'm actually just so you know, Michelle, don't be offended. He hasn't told me the secret. I'm still paying $20 to park at Gateway.
Yeah, well, you usually pay for the parking, so
that's true.
You pay for the parking, I pay for the beer. That's how that works.
And we got a pretty good arrangement.
Yeah. By the way, I will have to say that I gave you I took you to my Jazz Plus game ticket, and you did not offer the same return. Just like to point that out.
You ended up taking it out?
No, I took you.
To me?
Yeah, I took you to my Jazz.
Did I go?
My Jazz Plus ticket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, oh yeah.
Real dick.
Yeah, didn't take me. But that's okay.
It's okay. I'll get you back.
I see how
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Don't worry about it.
He had season tickets to a Jazz game, to a Jazz season once. And he took me to one game. And that was the first preseason game where the only player who played was Bojan Bogdanovic.
And that was pretty good to see, right? Wasn't that such an adventure?
Like, yeah, bro, more to come. So many games. We're going to go to so many games. That was
just for the record. That was the 2020 season that got shut down by COVID.
No, it wasn't. It was 2000. It was
2020. That was when I had my tickets. It was in the 2020 season that got stopped.
Yes. So half the year was already over by the time they got.
Yeah, I only had tickets to 22 games.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just
and I only went to 18.
Technically, none of mine were actual games. Mine was a preseason game.
That was still a real basketball game.
Did not count.
It did not count.
Didn't count in the league at all. For sure. But anyway, so we have I must have secret. Shine commented Michelle McKinnon commented rude.
I hope you're not talking to me.
And then we also have is that a smiley face with stars in it? What's that?
Can't see it. The screen's too far away.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna need a bigger screen here. We need to put a big TV right there so we can kind of see the comments. Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, so back to the content there. When it comes to the when it comes to that, I think that's when it comes to the Utah hockey team, I just anytime when we can update the how that's gonna happen and how they're gonna build it down there. it's going to be interesting. So
Yep,
I want
absolutely.
to make sure we cover that.
Okay, let's jump over to Major League Baseball. We're running this one long.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it, dude. But anyway, before we outro there, once again, folks, this is our Utah Hockey DNA channel. If you're watching that on we just launched our new hockey channel called Utah Hockey DNA. If you're watching that on this channel, we really appreciate you for finding this video on that channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you never miss a video, and also smash that like button. We're going to be doing a giveaway once this channel is monetized. We're going to be giving away one of those limited edition Utah Hockey Club hockey jerseys, which will only be available for one season. So make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that giveaway. And again, let us know in the comments down below what you think about the channel and all that good stuff. If you're watching this on our main channel, a link to that channel will be below. So be sure to check it. Absolutely. Check it out for sure. For sure. All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over to Major League Baseball, shall we?
Yep.
Lots to talk about on the hockey side, man.
There was so much.
Yeah.
It was exciting, though. There was a lot that happened. It's all good stuff. We're just trying to hook our people up. You know what I mean? One shot, you can come here, get all your Utah hockey news.
Yeah, one shot. You come to our channel, you visit our live stream, you're going to catch everything that we talk about all in one spot here for sure. Love it. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. So before we do that, we do need to have one more thing here. We need to finish this off, buddy.
Yeah, and we need a mid-show cheers.
A mid-show cheers for sure. So we're gonna for that get you there. Oh, let's cap the rest of that off. If YouTube's watching, that is apple juice.
Yeah, that's all we drink is apple juice.
That's right. All right, so let's go ahead and have a mid-show cheers. Cheers to you.
Bam, cheers to you, my friends. We appreciate you guys watching, all 4 of you that are on the live stream right now.
Sweet. And we also have another comment there. Let's go ahead and check on that real quick there. Pre-baseball cheers. Thank you very much, Michelle. Very much. Appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead and first talk about the All-Star game. So the All-Star game's coming up here in a couple weeks there. They have announced the stars, they announced the reserves, they announced pitching and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Before we talk about that, I do want to quickly touch on first of all the jerseys. So we talk a lot about jerseys on this show.
We do, and they do great.
So
everyone apparently loves to hear about the jerseys.
Everybody loves to hear about the jerseys. So these are the All-Star game jerseys. What's your thought on that? Give me your opinion real quick. Go ahead.
My personal opinion is they're hideous. I don't know how. Is this a Texas color scheme or
yes.
Okay? I mean, I get that, right?
Yeah. Not the color scheme, but the logo, the lettering and stuff is very much like Texas Ranch, cast iron sign type.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Yeah.
The National League jerseys look like they play for the Marlins, and the American League jerseys look like they fell down in the dirt and they were supposed to be red.
Nice. I like it. That's the that's a good point there.
That's the official take also.
That's the official take from DNA Sports Recap over there from your boy AJ.
I don't mind the hats though.
See, I want to talk about the hats. I don't like the hats.
Damn, do you like the jerseys?
No, I don't like any of them.
I don't like any of them. Okay, cool.
So the reason why I don't like the hats, and don't get me wrong, I like the baby blue, and maybe it'll grow on me if I had it in front of me. But the reason why I don't like the hats is this: they all look like a Houston Astros hat from the mid '80s. Yeah, everybody looks like a Houston Astros hat.
Everyone's an Astro.
So we better have a crap load of garbage cans out there.
There's going to be so many, dude. Everyone's just going to
bang on.
They're probably going to allow you to bring your own garbage can to the All-Star game.
They must.
Everyone's just banging.
I mean, this is going to be this is going to be the Rangers thing, but seriously, they have the Astros hat basically.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I mean, tell me I'm wrong there. Tell me that.
Leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think of the jerseys. They're horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know for sure in the comments down below what you think of those. Let's see here. We got Tammy. Hang on here. We've got Darren's got to stop doing this. He keeps forgetting to do the main overlay back there.
That's it. That's all I was trying to remind you of. I was trying to help you out, but I don't know.
No, dude, go for it. You're right-headed, so
I know, but I actually can't see it because the camera's right in the way.
Yeah, just a little bit of vaccine stuff. One of these days, guys, we're gonna do a live feed where we show you what we're looking at the whole time we're here.
It's a real adventure.
It's a real adventure to figure this out. So
it's actually much better than it used to be. It used to be a rat's nest in here.
It used to be for sure. But so Okay, so what first comment that we got there from Michelle is yuck. Yes,
Thank you.
yeah, the jerseys are awful. Don't really love it at all. The hats for sure are not great. We have Tammy Price, longtime live streamer there. I agree, not loving these at all. We also have Michelle commenting again that are they trying to be vintage? That's a good question.
That's all I can think of is that they're trying to be some sort of vintage throwback type jersey.
Yeah, if you look at some of the jerseys from like the Negro Leagues, like they had that same style of font on a lot of them, so they might have been going with that kind of pay homage to that, but they haven't done any of that in their press marketing at all. So it makes me think that they just chose this because it's kind of like a Texas.
They're like, it's cool, everyone like it. No,
yeah,
you can't make me, and I'm not going to.
Yeah, and yeah, Tammy Price there again looks like an Astros hat. Exactly, spot on. Tammy, me and you, same page for sure. Great minds think alike. So appreciate that. Thank you there. Yeah, for sure. It's not a great look on that for sure. It's kind of, I don't know. I want to, and the main thing I want to talk about that when it comes to the branding of the hats, I'm way out of luck here. When it comes to the hats, there is going to be, they didn't used to be a thing before like 96 or I think 98. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. They wore their actual jerseys.
They wore that. Well, I thought they wore the All-Star jerseys, but they wore their team's hat.
The jersey was their team's
the
jersey.
Other way? Okay.
And the hat had like a special All-Star, but it was similar to their main hat, and there was some type of design.
I like those days.
I think that's better. I think you keep the normal jersey and maybe put like an All-Star patch on it, or maybe jazz it up a little bit so it's a little different.
Yeah, and like all the home team would wear their white jerseys or their home jerseys, and the away teams would wear their away jerseys.
Yeah, all you're doing is trying to sell National League and American League jerseys here, and there's going to be more likely to people to buy a Braves All-Star jersey or a Dodgers All-Star jersey or a Yankees All-Star jersey.
Go Braves.
They not a lot to talk about with the Braves.
Go Braves
for sure. But yeah, I love it. I love the loyalty to the.
They just took the series over the Phillies.
Hey, and the Phillies beat the crap out of the Dodgers today. Did you see that? It was like 8-0.
Who was pitching for the Phillies?
Wheeler.
Oh, okay.
And we had our injury guy who has an ERA of like 8 right now coming back pitching. So
got his ass kicked.
I could have called that game way before it even started. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna lose that one for sure. But anyway, so when it comes back to the jerseys, yeah, absolutely, they need to go back to the team's jerseys. You want to do a different variation of the team's jerseys. I think you're going to sell more jerseys that way. I just think no one's buying these things. They're just not that great. I might, if I saw the hat, I might pick up the hat if I liked it, but I don't like the hat.
No,
it doesn't look right.
It looks weird.
Looks weird. But yeah, anyway, so
and the colors don't even remotely match. Like, what's their thought there?
Yeah, what's the color scheme? Someone from Texas let us know. Is this red and this like light blue color scheme for Texas? Is there a college team in Texas we're not aware of that color?
Is it MasterCard? Like
there you
MasterCard sponsoring it, so they're like MasterCard red on the jerseys, and then just any random blue. Let's pick that one. Here we go.
I like it, AJ. That's great. Let's see here. Yeah, so we'll go back to the. I'll eventually get this, guys. I promise. We'll get there.
We're so fancy.
We are so fancy. By the way, let us know what you think about the new overlay. We replaced it last week, and we spent way too much time doing it. Let us know what you think.
Sorry, wrong side.
There you go.
But
yeah, so let's see here. Looks like
look at our stuff up here.
Yeah, look at all that great stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Got our stuff that we follow there. They both have.
And if you're listening on the podcast, I'm pointing to all the strange things on the overlay.
Yes. Once again, folks,
check it out on YouTube.
Podcast. Make sure you give us a review, subscribe, and let us know what we're doing there, how we're doing there, not what we're doing, because we obviously aren't going to listen to that.
And we obviously don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. So they did it both. They've done it both ways, I think. Okay, so Tammy did. Tammy would know a little bit about that on the history of that. So they've done it both ways, where they've done the hat and the jersey. So it's good to know. Good to know for sure. I know they've always had a custom jersey for like the home run derby and the warm ups. They've always had jerseys for that.
Yeah.
And just in the game, they've used their regular ones. It would be nice to know why they went with that style. Yeah, you think we'd be better at our jobs here, Michelle, but apparently we didn't dive deep enough for that.
Nope. But I do got the changes on the home run derby.
Yes, we do have changes in the home run derby, so we're definitely going to talk about that. Overlay is awesome.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Deeply appreciate it. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the home run derby. So let's first talk about that. So there's changes to the home run derby this year, which I think are all good changes. So we're going to throw that up there first. You want to break down the rules in the first round?
Absolutely. So in the head-to-head, in the first round, it used to be head-to-head, right? So it was one player versus the other. They nixed that. They went away from that. So now it's just everyone bats, and then the top 4 players from that first round advance, which is a nice change, right? Because sometimes you want the 4 best players to advance, not just whoever wins the head-to-heads.
Yeah, we're going to back this off here for a second, and then we're going to go back to the main overlay there, because that's how I'm going to do it. We want to talk about that because that happens quite a bit. Dodgers fans will know there's a time where Jock Peterson and what's his name? Guerrero Jr., Vlad Jr. were both knocking bombs, dude. They hit at like 21 and 23 together in the first round.
The 2 best hitters in the derby.
And Peterson got knocked out because he didn't hit more than the other guys but he hit more than the other guy, but he hit more than everybody else on the roster. Which I also think is kind of weird that's there. So this is a great rule. I like this change. Go ahead and continue breaking down what you said.
And then to take that a little bit further, if there's a tie, the ties are settled by whoever hit the longest home run. So that's kind of a cool thing. There is a cap on the number of pitches. You still get 3 minutes in that initial round, but
which I really like, because that's 40 pitches is a change there, because Bryce Harper did win the home run derby previously. But if anybody who watched that knew that he was cheating, he was not waiting for the ball to clear the fence before they're supposed to wait until the ball lands before the next pitcher throws. For the pitcher,
he was just taking as many pitches as he could,
as many swings as he could.
Yeah,
and that ruins it for everybody who's watching, because what happens there?
It's flipping back and forth.
Yeah, you don't get to watch the ball go out.
Yeah,
so you either watch the guy hit it and then hear the crowd cheer and hope that was a home run. You want to see the bomb get hit. You want to see it go out before you see the next one being swung at.
Yeah. So when you put the limit of 40 pitches on there, they're going to be waiting. They're going to be taking their time. You still do get the breaks like you previously got. You get 1 45-second timeout or whatever. And the final round is 2 minutes with a max of 27 pitches, which is way better. You still get your timeout in that round. And then if you hit a 400 that says 425. My notes actually say it's any home runs that are equal or exceed 440 feet. If you have 2 home runs that equal or exceed 440 feet, that's how you get the bonus round.
Okay. Yeah, so this one's coming from MLB.com, so I'm not sure. It could be wrong, could be right on that one. What I like about this one, when it comes to that, is the 3 bonus outs for every home run. Every swing is every swing that is a home run or an out. So if they swing, you get a bonus out, basically.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So like you get 40 pitches. If you swing and it's not a home run, and it just drops, you get a bonus out for that. It used to be the home run derby used to be based off of outs. You get 15 outs, and every swing or any ball that didn't leave the yard was an out.
Okay.
So you would see people just take pitches. Having it on a timer means that you don't have Bryce Harper up there for 35 minutes waiting for the perfect pitch to be thrown by his dad.
Yeah.
So I like these rules there. The 425-foot home run for the bonus period earns the 4th bonus out there. Basically, what that means is you're getting more time on the end of your thing, and also some additional swings and additional outs, right? So I think that's very cool. The finals, again, 2-minute rounds, 27 pitches, 1 timeout, and the same bonus rules apply there. So if you hit a home run over 425 feet, you're going to get some extra bonus outs there, where you can get extra swings there at the end, basically. So your time's up, and you get 3 swings, and they either go out or they're an out, right? So it's a neat format. It's a good blend between the old school format and the new school format where it's timed, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very cool. I don't know what you think.
I think it's going to be fun to watch this year for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun to watch when they changed it over, just the time frame. But like I said, there was too many players that were cheating in it, and it was just an exhibition, so no one's going to call them out on it. No one's going to say, no pitch. I mean, it's just going to be, that's going to be boring. No one's going to want to do that.
Overlay.
But yeah, so it's going to be interesting for sure. Now, before that, let's go ahead and talk about the starters in the let's talk about the starters there for a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that up on the screen here so you guys can see the starters. So let's go ahead and start with the AL starters there. We got Catch. Do you want to read these out?
Yeah, I can read them out.
Okay. Start with the AL.
Yep. So the American League starters, Adley Rutschman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Jose Altuve, Jose Ramirez, Gunnar Henderson, Aaron Judge, Stephen Kwan, Juan Soto, and Jordan Alvarez.
Okay, what jumps out to you on those starters? Anybody jump out at you on that one?
No, not really.
Okay. What I really like is Stephen Kwan is on the team there from the Cleveland Guardians. That's the name that you're like, who the heck is that, right? But
Yeah.
he totally earned that at starting position as being a player that's just dominating out there for the Cleveland Guardians. You know, obviously Jose Ramirez, you know, J-Ram, you know, Mr. One Punch Knockout himself there. One of my dark horses for the MVP. Obviously he's going to be there, but I love the fact that they have another starter there in Stephen Kwan, who's just been killing it for the first half of the year. I think that's super awesome. Obviously, Jordan Alvarez of the Astros is going to get the starting position there for the designated hitter. I don't see any, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see any Texas Rangers starters in starting lineup there.
No starters for Texas,
which I think is interesting.
Yeah,
I think is very interesting. Let's go ahead and jump into the starters there for the National League. I'll go ahead and read these off.
Okay.
So we have the catcher, Wilson Contreras from the Milwaukee Brewers. Sorry, when I say Wilson, sorry, that's his brother. It's William Contreras. Wilson Contreras, I believe, is for the Cardinals. William Contreras for the Milwaukee Brewers. We have the first baseman, Bryce Harper. Starting at second base, Ketel Marte from the Diamondbacks. Third base, we have Alec Bohm of the Philadelphia Phillies. Shortstop, Trey Turner of the Phillies. Trey Turner is the sickest slide in baseball, by the way, as a Dodger. Outfielder, we have Christian Yelich of the Brewers. Jerickson Profar, San Diego Padres. First All-Star nod for him, by the way. Congratulations to Jerickson Profar, the relevant player himself. If you know, you know. Fernando Tatis Jr. also at the Padres round out the outfield. Designated hitter for the National League is Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So, yeah, those are your starters, folks. Do you know anybody that you feel like is on the National League side? Anything jump out at you on that at all when it comes to that, really?
No.
So we have 3 Phillies players.
I mean, I think Marcell Ozuna.
He's not a starter.
I know, but he should have been.
He should be a starting DH.
Always. He's a Brave.
Over
Shohei. You heard me.
I honestly don't even know how to respond to that one.
That's kind of what I was hoping for, actually.
Yeah, I seriously don't even know how to.
He's still an all-star. I'll take it.
Yeah, he's an all-star for sure. But yeah, I don't know what you're going with there for sure. Okay, let us know, Braves fans, in the comments down below. Please give me any reason at all that would justify why Marcell Ozuna would be a starting DH over Shohei Ohtani.
Because he's a Brave.
Yeah, that's not good enough. Do we have any Brave starters in the National League starting?
No, sir, we don't.
Oh,
well,
okay.
No. Well, Chris Sale might start pitching.
Oh, that's something I do want to ask. We'll talk about that. Don't tease that yet.
Okay.
We'll talk about that in a minute for sure. I think that's awesome, man. It's a nice, well-rounded group. Again, a crap ton of Phillies, which makes sense. They have the best record in baseball, and they are absolutely just killing the ball. What I think is really funny is there's 2 Padres that are starting the outfield.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's not great.
All that tells you is that the Padres pitching staff has a lot of outfielding to show off.
I guess for sure. Sure, but congrats to Ketel Marte from the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's awesome. Alec Bohm making the starting job for the Phillies, I think, is awesome. And also good to see Christian Yelich back there as an all-star again. He's had a rough couple of years, so I think that's very cool to have him on the starting rotation. All right, let's go ahead and go into the reserves, shall we? Do you want to cover the AL reserves or the NL reserves? I'll let you cover the NL.
My reserves list is really weird.
Okay, I'll just go through them.
Okay,
so on the reserves list here, we have Carlos Correa, the Minnesota Twins, the only Twin to make the All-Star team. We have Rafael Devers of the Red Sox, Jarren Duran of the Boston Red Sox, David Fry of the Guardians, 3 Guardians so far. We have Riley Green of the Detroit Tigers, I believe the only Tiger on the All-Star team there. Josh Naylor of the Guardians, so that's now, 4 or 5 Guardians on the All-Star team. You have Isaac Paredes of the Tampa Bay Rays, the only Ray to make the All-Star team. You have Salvi Perez of the Royals, Marcus Semien of the Rangers. Boo. There's 2 players on the Rangers I would rather have on that team, the All-Star team, than Marcus Semien, but all right. Kyle Tucker made it from the Houston Astros, and Jordan Westburg of the Baltimore Orioles, which is super awesome. Congratulations to him. And obviously, Bobby Witt Jr., Kansas City Royals, your dark horse for the MVP as well.
Absolutely.
I think that's very cool. On the National League, on the American League, on the National League side, we have CJ Abrams of the Washington Nationals, the only Nationals on the All-Star game. Pete Alonso from the Mets, Louis Alvarez of the Padres, Mookie Betts of the Dodgers, Ellie De La Cruz, future MVP for the Cincinnati Reds there, because as we know, stolen bases all that matters for the MVP.
Such a stud, though.
So he's going to win.
He is a really good player.
He is a really good player.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman of the Dodgers, Ryan McMahon of the Colorado Rockies, saying that wrong. Will Smith of the Los Angeles Dodgers, Teoscar Hernandez of the Los Angeles Dodgers, Jackson Merrill of the San Diego Padres, Elliot Ramos of the San Francisco Giants, and Brian Reynolds of the San Diego Padres. So there you go.
Yes, sir.
Question.
Yes.
Where is your boy, Marcell Ozuna? Did he not make the All-Star team?
No, he did.
Did I not call his name?
I don't think he did. Hater. Because he's a Brave.
Why isn't he on my reserve list or my starters list?
He's on the reserve list for sure.
Why is he on my list? Why is he on my list? I was looking for him. Anyway, but yeah, so Marcell Ozuna, I do know, is also as an All-Star, guys. So make sure you check that out. By the way, congratulations to him, first All-Star nod in several years there, pending his case and all that issues he had off the field, which you and I need to talk. Which you and I both have decided that's not where it is. Yeah, let's go ahead. You're just killing me over there. You're killing me over there. Okay, so back to the main overlay. So we have in the comments there, we also have let's go ahead and talk about the comments there. Weird with the Padres for sure. Go Dodgers. Thank you, Teddy, for jumping in there in combating the Go Padres stuff for sure. But anyway, so we also have pitchers. We're going to announce the pitchers here. We don't have one for that, so I'm just going to read them off. The pitchers, we have Tyler Anderson of the Angels, Corbin Burns of the Orioles, Emmanuel Clase of the Guardians, Garrett Roche of the White Sox, Logan Gilbert of the Mariners, Clay Holmes of the Mets, Tanner Houck of the Red Sox, Seth Lugo, the guy, your Cy Young candidate, of the Royals, Mason Miller of the Oakland Athletics, probably the best relief arm in baseball right now, Cole Reagans of the Royals, Tarek Skubal, my Cy Young guy for the Tigers, and Kirby Yates of the Rangers. Oh, we have a Rangers player.
There it is.
There's a Rangers player.
There it is.
There's one there. Good job. And on the National League side, we have Tyler Glasnow, the sex god himself from the Los Angeles Dodgers. We have Hunter Green of the Cincinnati Reds, the Ryan Hensley of the Cardinals, Jeff Huntsman of the Phillies, Shota Imanaga of the Cubs, my Cy Young winner, Ronaldo Lopez of the Braves. Hey,
go Braves.
Chris Sale of the Braves. Hey, Tanner Scott of the Miami Marlins. Paul Skeens of the Pirates. Matt Strom of the Phillies. Ranger Suarez of the Phillies, which is your Cy Young for the National League.
Yep.
Robert Suarez of the Padres. Logan Webb of the Giants, and Zach Wheeler of the Phillies.
We're gonna have to update our Cy Young candidates, because I'm telling you, Ronaldo Lopez, he's pulling hard, man.
Yeah, he's pulling hard for sure.
1.71 ERA.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think he's doing pretty well. Now, as far as the National League, who do you want starting that National League starting pitcher?
I want Chris Sale.
You want Chris Sale?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I also know Lopez just pitched, so I think he might be pitching tonight.
Okay, fair enough. Now you may think I want to say Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah,
but I do not. I think that the guy, the mustache man himself, Paul Skeens of the Pirates, should be the starting place.
That is a really cool story. I mean, especially as a rookie. He's just come in, just absolutely dominating teams. Too,
he made the Dodgers look like a AAA team, man.
He is so good, dude.
So good, and I'd love to see what he could do against the American League All-Star team. I think that'd be fantastic. See him go through the rotation.
And he's only going to throw 3 innings anyway.
Probably 2. Max,
yeah.
So, and plus we all know he's going to have TJ within the first couple of years anyway. So we might as well get to.
Everybody does. It's a new thing.
Yeah. So we might as well see it out of there and see how he does. Because Paul Skeens for the Pittsburgh Pirates, obviously Olivia Dunn's boyfriend. Apparently we have to mention that everybody has to mention that when you ever talk about Paul Skeens. So, I guess we had to mention it for some reason. I don't know. That's the thing. But on the pitching side for the American League, who would you like to see?
American League, let's go with. I'm going to go my guy, Seth Lugo.
Seth Lugo. I like it. I like it. I think it'd be a good choice for a starting pitcher. I think there's two that I would probably pick. Manuel Clase of the Cleveland Guardians, because he was a Cy Young candidate last year and got hurt, so he wasn't able quite to make it. But if I was to say, I'm going to pick Garrett Crochet, because he's probably the best pitcher in the American League right now, and he's going to be moved by the trade deadline. I'd like to see, the White Sox have something to be happy about, and having their pitcher start the American League.
Yeah, gives them something to cheer for.
Gives them something to cheer for sure. But yeah. Anyway,
there's not much else as a White Sox fan.
Definitely not. But yeah, we want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below. Let us know what you think in regards to the All-Star team there. Is there any snubs? Is there anybody that we missed out that you'd want us to talk about there? Let us know in the comments down below who missed out, who shouldn't be there, any of that kind of stuff. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know. And if you're one of the players who is underrepresented, we want to hear from you on that. If you're a fan of one of the teams where players are underrepresented, we want to hear from you for sure. Let us know in the comments down below for sure. There is one more thing I want to talk about today.
Okay.
And that would be, let's talk about Marcell Ozuna.
Let's do it.
Okay. So what do you want to talk about when it comes to Marcell Ozuna? We lost a light.
Does that mean it's been too long?
Possibly. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up, though. So Marcell Ozuna. So as we mentioned before, he got voted into the All-Star team for the first time this year, and the first time in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
he's had a lot of off the field issues when it comes to some type of domestic violence issues when it comes to his spouse there. If you look in the story, we're not going to cover that here because we just don't cover that kind of stuff on this channel. You can find it somewhere else, but you'll know that there's more to that story than it meets the eye. Everybody on his team knows that he's a player first guy. The one thing I want to talk about is his DUI. Everybody gives him crap for name dropping. Oh, hey, I'm Marcell Ozuna from the Braves when he got a DUI. Did you hear the story?
I did not hear this.
So he was giving him crap because he talked about that. He's like, oh, hey, I'm Marcell Ozuna of the Braves when he got pulled over for a DUI. Let me tell you something. If you are a black man in Atlanta and you get pulled over in a G-Wagon by the cops, you want to do whatever you can to make sure that cop.
I don't blame him at all.
I would not blame him for name dropping.
I name drop myself, dude. If I got pulled over, I'd be like, I'm AJ from DNA Sports Recap.
Yeah. Talk about, a black man in a G-Wagon getting pulled over in the South is, you just want to make sure that goes smoothly. And if you have any clout, you want to make sure you say that right out the gates. So
everybody, that man.
Yeah. Anybody who's complaining about that, I'm like, dude, just, check that for a little bit and just put yourself in his shoes, for a second there. I don't fault him for doing that at all. I just want to talk a little bit about Marcell Ozuna and talk about how great of a season he's having so far. Do you have his stats so far?
I do. Right now, he's currently leading the Atlanta Braves, who are number 2 in their division. He's got his current batting average is 292. He's got 73 RBIs. His on-base percentage is 372, which also leads the team. And he's got 96 hits so far this season.
How many stolen bases do you have?
He has 0.
Okay. So he's not going to win the
MVP candidate for sure.
Okay. It's going to be a sleeper, dark horse candidate for sure.
Way sleeper, way dark horse.
Doesn't he lead the team in home runs as well?
Yeah.
How many do you have?
23.
Nice.
Nice. Tied for 4th.
Yeah. I want to just firstly say hats off to him. I think he's had a great time coming back from that, and, I think he deserves his flowers. He deserves to get his All-Star nod. Well-deserved. Should have got there last year. He's done nothing but right by the team, by the fans, and by the players in that locker room ever since his issues that he had off the field. And I just want to take a minute in this episode to tip our cap there, our DNA Sports Recap hat, and say congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been such a bright spot in the lineup. Just watching as many Braves games as I have this year, he's one spot that you can be like, we really need a hit right now. He had a walk-off sack fly at the time of recording. It was last night, but to take that game, and it was just like, he's that guy. You're like, we just need a hit, just something to get us going. And he's been that guy this whole season. He's been really fun to watch.
Absolutely. Love it. Love to hear from it. Let us know in the comments down below, folks. Braves fans, let us know what you think about Marcell Ozuna's basically not really a resurgence because he had a great year last year, but it definitely was the latter half of the year that was good for him. But having a great year, I hope it continues for him and the Atlanta Braves. I look forward to them making a push there, trying to catch up the Phillies for sure.
Yep.
With that said, folks, again, we are on the grind to 1,000 subscribers. At the time of recording, we're about 48 away from that. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be giving the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue back to our subscribers. So if you have not yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway, and smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there.
I appreciate it. And if you're watching on YouTube on one of our short videos, just know this is available as a podcast wherever you get your audio only. Make sure you guys follow all that. We appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. Rate and review on the podcast for sure. With all that said, my name is Darren. That is AJ, and this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.
All right. To everybody who's watching the podcast, deeply appreciate it. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. Tammy, Michelle, thanks to you for commenting. Jonathan, thank you for your comments as well. And we will see you next time.
Yeah.